Would you, this is a game I play with my coworkers, would you go with a woman who is not athletic at all or sportive at all?
If she's a fine wife, cool. Fine wife,
Yeah.
still put in the bag on it.
You still play.
Put in the bag on it.
Even though she doesn't exercise one bit.
Put in the bag on
Nothing.
it. As long as she's like regularly healthy, put in the bag on it.
Got you.
Put in the bag. Because the gym is like, of course, situationless. Imagine when she start having kids, she might not be regularly on the gym.
Yeah. But
Put in the bag on it.
I'm talking about athletic in a sense of just some kind of exercise.
Yeah, some kind of exercise, of course, that's always plus.
But what about if she doesn't do any?
If it's something that we can progress on or do together later on, I don't mind. We still put in the bag on it. You know what I'm saying? Because wife is supposed to be wife.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
if she can give me healthy kids that can become the athlete stars later on, bro, I don't give a fuck. We put in the bag on it. No, I don't mean bag on her head, but we bagging it.
Yes, he will put that ring on.
All right, game is game.
You hear that, ladies?
We start having triple shift, the quadro shift, just to provide.
Yes.
Diabolic.
Yes. Oh,
Hey, you got an opening scene.
hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everything in between. Welcome back. It's too politic. Hey everybody, welcome back. Opinion Outlaws Season 6, Episode 8.
Diabolic. We got
8.
like 2 left.
Think about it, 8. Only 2 left from this.
Diabolic.
And
Getting my memory stuck.
Before we even start, before we even contemplate, before we even start to think, you know what to do. And it feels kind of like disrespecting our viewers because it feels like they don't know what needs to be done.
But some of them don't know.
You really think
Some
so?
of them are way too retarded.
You think so?
Yeah, bro. Remember, world ain't equal.
Yeah, that's true.
The IQ ain't shared equally.
But we don't want that kind of viewership, right?
Hey, we want all viewership, but we still gotta treat everybody equally. So we gotta still remind everybody. So game is game. You know what to do.
What about if we just showcase? We don't need to say. No, we need to say because there's
somebody might be listening. So you gotta think about the ones.
My bad.
Somebody might be, having hearing impairment. So you have to think about them as well.
That's true.
So you know what I'm saying?
Or somebody is just doing something during.
We said in the previous episodes, if somebody using our voices to get into the hula hula,
making babies.
Game is game. God bless you. But you know what to do. You better put the subscribe button into action. You better put that like button into action right there. And as always, you better put some comment down below. And of course, take hold of our other social medias as TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify. Of course, Spotify,
Yes,
man.
yes.
I don't know if you have published anything in Spotify, but you still better take that over so you can listen to our previous episodes. And yeah, that's pretty much the casual introduction into the newer viewers and old viewers, and put the work.
Yes, listen to this man. You know what needs to be done. And today's topic, I was thinking, because we have now just few topics left that we can take. I was thinking because we took from authority last episode, we could do now strength, because they are very, I would say, hand to hand with one another usually. And strength now, listen, we are talking about strength as a virtue, as a good sign, as a good element of a human being. Of course, we cannot take that away, that strength is also used for bad intentions or used for very bad things. But all in all, strength is one thing that is, I would say, pure in a sense. It's hard to fake.
Quick question. Are we talking about physical strength or emotional, mental, or what type of strength are we talking about right now?
I'm talking about in general. If somebody says that you're a strong individual, it's not just that they are physically strong. That, of course, if somebody is benching 200 kilos, they are strong.
Bro, that's
they are strong.
That's beyond the Olympic right there.
I have seen live once in my life, in here actually, the gym that is over there. I've seen, of course, Now, to understand, it's a powerlifting gym, and it's a gym where people who doesn't care about aesthetics and doesn't care about cleanliness, they go there.
Hold on, what you mean by that?
It's old stuff, old school gym, old school dumbbells. Even the floor is made. It's like beton.
Yeah, so it's concrete, straight
Straight concrete, and then on top of the concrete, they have just put some tires and some leather just to
look
like it's
something else, but it's a ghetto ass gym.
Ghetto ass gym, and there usually people don't go to look a certain part; they go to train. And once I saw a guy, maybe our age, something like that, shorter than us. He looked like a powerlifter. He was like bulky. He went to the squat rack, and he didn't have any straps or anything. He went to the rack, to the bench press. He took the bench. It was 210 kilos. Took it, came it back down at a stop, and then came it back up, and then put it back.
Game.
I'm looking at this man like, you strong, boy.
You tough.
You strong,
Build
boy.
different.
But when I say, I'm talking about in general. Emotional, spiritual, social, physical, mental. All these, when I say strong. Now, to dive deeper into the strength as a concept. How do you see this? How do you see strength? How, from your perspective?
That's why I asked you previously about which section of strength we're talking about, because as I at least viewed, or most of people view, there's multiple type of strength. Like somebody might not physically be strong, but they have for example, strong will on doing things and so on. So that brings out that they are strong-willed person or strong mentally. And of course, the opposite also is true. And then there's the truth of somebody having all the traits at the same time, which is the optimal one. But about strength in itself, well, I would say like this: it's something that actually some people might have it from their life experience, like from when they were a kid already, or it's something that they actually gain during the lifespan from example experiences, or they have trained it, for example, they strengthened their will, or in the physical case worked out properly to get more strength. So it fully depends on which department we are speaking about, and they kind of differ in some sense, because emotional and mental strength, it's kind of a bit, I would say, difficult to strengthen, especially if you have a very weak-minded mindset, or your mental state is very weak in a sense. It's a little bit harder to strengthen compared to physical strength, because physical strength, it doesn't require you in a sense much other than go pump a little bit, do a couple of push-ups, and you're already a little bit stronger than yesterday, and that's it in that sense. But the mental department, because like we have seen actually in celebrities, a lot of people who are they look strong, and they are strong like in physical wise, but then the mental department is absolute, like they're really weak in mental department. I ain't gonna say names, but this one celebrity who was addicted to porn, for example, he has like a physical strength, like we can see from his from his physique.
And I will say the name, it's a public thing, Terry Crews.
Damn, you just go throw him under the bus now?
I'm not throwing him under the bus, it's an open thing, he has discussed about it.
I know. I ain't trying to give no publicity to it. I ain't trying to give no publicity. No, I'm just kidding. But example, the Terry, and there's actually a couple others,
but Terry Crews is a best example for this, because he is strong. When you go to the gym, you can see it. But like
mental-wise,
it's a
kind of
different thing.
Admitted that he's kind of weak because he was addicted to porn and couldn't do this and that, which shows that he does not have that will strength in a sense, and the mentality part ain't as strong as his physical part. I would say like that. And of course, then there's some other celebrities that have the opposite way, that their mental strength was strong, but the physical part ain't. And as I'm telling you again, physical part is always easier to improve on rather than mental part, because mental part requires you to either fundamentally start shifting on certain department or do some extra work, something that requires and also require way longer period of time to improve on.
Michael Jackson, for example, is a great example for this.
The strength part.
The mental strength part.
Hey, don't disrespect it. The way he was
like,
doing the dances, bro, that requires...
I'm not saying that he wasn't physically strong, but compared to like average man, he was weaker than the average man. But compared to his mental strength, he was far superior to almost in a level of Navy SEAL or the Russian Spetsnaz, for example. Mentally, he was at that level when it comes to strength. I'm talking about Michael Jackson now. Because there's not a lot of people who will get abused like him during his childhood. And then
keep the mentality.
Still keep that mentality throughout his adulthood, and then go and win all those awards and do all that kind of music. And then when the accusation come up, he still continued to do it. He
still put in the work.
He still continued until his deathbed when he was drugged.
I put a conspiracy on the table right now.
Hey, all I'm saying.
Same way. And even in that, not even the accusation, just the publicity.
Yes.
How big of a thing he was, because in a lot of cases, how famous you are, right? Man, get your big ass out of here. How famous you are. Like, imagine how many people were looking at him when he was performing.
Yes.
That in itself is very overwhelming to a lot of people.
Yes.
Which is, it requires some type of like mentality.
Yes,
of like,
it's notorious that he couldn't sleep on tours. Like he had insomnia during that. Or even Michael Jordan is a good example for this. He couldn't go outside without swarmed by people during that time. And same thing, he couldn't sleep. It has nothing to do with the fact that he doesn't have the means to it, right? Best bed, best house, best like
living
everything.
The life.
Everything fine, yeah, best food, everything that he wanted is like this. But that mental strain that you said, a lot of people looking at you, a lot of people are reacting to you. It takes a lot of toll from a human being.
And we know, like, the Michael Jackson is good, like, mental department, but example of like physical and mix of mental department, to me at least, one person who comes to mind really easily. Of course, we can talk about the Navy SEALs, the special ops, military guys overall, but in sport-wise, for example, Kobe Bryant is one of the good example of person who has a strong mentality, but at the same time a strong physique in a sense. Of course, not the buffest guy, but I doubt that if you push him, he will just fall. Right? Most likely.
No. He was a very strong, and he actually built that strength. Like we talk about physical strength, he built that because he was a scrawny kid when he was coming up. And if you look at the first 2-3 years when he was playing, he was a scrawny kid. He was how much? 70 kilos, 80 kilos. Compared to his height.
Not the buffest guy.
Like 70 kilos, let's say. But he was like tall, like 185, 186, something like that. Like he was in America, I believe he was 6'4", 6'5". So it was
it's like
somewhere like
190,
195, something like that. Yeah. So he was actually a pretty tall guy, about the average, of course. NBA, he was short. But
not like Stephen Curry, bro. That's short for average.
Think about it. Like he's 190. He's 191, 193.
Yeah, which is qualified as short, even though he looks very short, even though he's like really tall.
But Kobe Bryant, good example that his mental strength was off limits. But his mental strength actually, this is where I said, for example, fighters they are born. You either have it or you don't. Kobe Bryant had that. He had that mentality. There was no amount of training and no amount of things you can do in order for you to have that kind of mentality. You can I said this before, you can train to become better at something, but you necessarily won't be that thing.
Actually, I would kind of also segue into that with a argument of your environment is actually a big effect on that, because as we
for
say
sure.
that environment is big cause to a lot of situations why we are who we are nowadays. So the argument of saying that you can't train that, I would take it in a context of, let's say, one guy was raised in like a good environment, healthy, etc., compared to somebody who had to like struggle already from the youth. Of course, the guy who struggled from the youth already has that little hunger of like, you know,
Yes.
whatever necessary means I need to do, I will do, get it done to get for better life, compared to somebody who already has quote unquote easy life.
Yes.
And then they just for fun of it want to train their mentality to be strong. There will be noticeable
sure.
difference on the gains
For
of
sure.
that mentality
For sure.
in that sense. So that might be something that I will a little bit kind of like shift on the sense of like you cannot be born with it. Of course, leadership, for example, you can train yourself to be a good. I don't remember exactly how one of person mentioned, but it was either in a form of like you can be a good coach but shitty leader, and also you could have the opposite way of being like being good leader but bad at coaching. And only one of those is easier to train. That if you are, for example, you are a good leader but bad coach, we can train you to be a good coach. But if you are a good coach but shitty leader, that's not really trainable in that sense. So but I could be wrong on this, but this is how I remember
somewhere along the lines, I remember it was this. To that environment, yes, I agree in a sense that it will shape your perception. Of course, I wouldn't be this man if I was lived in an environment where I felt a lot of love, for example. 100%, I would not be this man.
not even love, but imagine resource.
Not only I'm talking about now loved in a sense of when I go, for example, to somewhere, I wouldn't be mean mugged, or I wouldn't be looked down upon, or I wouldn't taken out of the opportunities, even though I am better at you than you. But it had created, of course, I always have had as a child this, but then the environment kind of forced it, that I have this kind of ambition. You can say it's given, you can say it's built. I believe that it was given because God made me to a point where you will have this from me. But for sure, Kobe Bryant wouldn't have been that successful if he wasn't living in Italy as a child.
Because one good example of this is, ironically, if you look at the record of the highest athletes, for example, let's say that, not to be stereotyping, but all the sports where it's, example, black male dominated, and check out their background.
Yes.
Most of them were hungry because their
Yes.
youth was something like they didn't have enough resource or something.
Yes.
So there's the environment. The reason why I mentioned the environment, because the environment is one big play in a sense of how it allows you to build that mentality or force you into that mentality, and then from there you kind of like train it in from experience and so on and so on.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree on that environment part. There's actually a great story about Terence Crawford. I don't know if you know him. A boxer, a fighter.
Crawford
But
sounds familiar, very familiar.
Let me show you, because I am 100% but he has an interesting story because he has this kind of tough putted spot in a similar sense, but it's also that there you go.
Oh yeah,
No, this is Howard.
Howard, yeah.
Not Howard.
I was like, hold up, that ain't boxer, but
There you go. This one.
yeah, this one. I know. Oh yeah, you know what he said? You know when when he started boxing, how it began? He said when he got that 8-ounce gloves, And he realized what kind of damage he can cause.
Oh.
He said, I like this.
Yes.
I like this.
In his position, for example, he was without father, and he was living in the hoods, and the hoods, the projects, and his mother made him fight with other kids or with other teenagers, and it was like a bet. If you win him, you can get $10, something like that. And in the hood, $10 is,
That's a high money.
That's a high money.
That's a lot of money right there.
So she was hustling in a sense, and he got better at fighting. But because times were tough, when he went to the gym the first time to actually train and spar, there was another fighter who was sparring, and he had the bad habit of dropping the sparring partners, knocking them out. But when he went into sparring,
he caused the havoc.
this fighter, he tried to go more. This guy turns that he was a rookie, but he still went more. And to me, he is a fighter.
Yeah,
a demonstration. Yes, the environment built him, but also he wasn't the only child. But he had that fighter in him, that he was born with that. And then the environment just shaping that mentality. And now when he went to fight, for example, he doesn't care that you're a world champ. I will beat you.
Exactly. Game on game. He said game is game.
But Kobe Bryant, yes, you're right. He already had that, but the difference to him was that it was, for example, Michael Jordan also had that. But the difference was that Michael Jordan, to him, it was just psychotic competitiveness.
He went to Looney Tunes in his head.
He went to the overboard because
I need to be best in everything.
he wanted to beat you at everything, not just one thing.
I will dribble better than you. I will throw threes better than you.
Will Smith told that he will race you in drinking water.
Bro,
Or he will race you to go to the car. It was that type of mentality to the competition. And it's unhealthy in a sense of to every aspect of your life. But when it comes to athletic performances, it's one of the best mentalities to have. But contrast to the Kobe Bryant, yes, he had that same kind of psychosis when it comes to competing and to have the ball. But the difference was that Kobe Bryant's mentality was shapen during the stay of Italy because he was mistreated and he was racist. He was racist towards being in Italy. Then he came back and he was kid from Europe. So basically he was again isolated. So the moment he went to the NBA, he was still isolated, and that isolation built him to a point where he had to be the best. And that's the only way that he knew how to maintain himself as a man. And I'm gonna be honest, he gave it all. He gave it
put in
all.
the work.
He gave it all. That's why when he retired, he could retire peacefully.
He has done what he needed to do and gave his game.
There was nothing he could do more. So he lay his boots and that's it.
Because what you said about the Michael Jordan, he went to the extreme spectrum, I guess, in a sense. I would say, or ask question it how about example David Goggins? Because he's one of also demonstration that we kind of say he has a strong physique, but also he has a strong mind, because the shit he does is something no regular person does. And wasn't it that he also even said that people shouldn't even try to constantly be in the state of mind that he is, because it also to some degree is damaging in a way.
For sure. A good question to David Goggins is what I have, because he is example of how can you reform yourself, how you can redeem yourself, how you can become a better human being just by being tough mentally. And he has also a story where his father was beating him up all the time. It was a sad story in a sense. And to him, I would say that he's not having the same extreme competitiveness as Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan wanted to beat you in everything. We're not just talking about just basketball.
That would be a good companion right there with the Goggins.
He wanted to beat you in dressing, he wanted to beat you in food, he wanted to beat you at anything that you can think of.
That was ego. He was more rubbing his ego at that point.
But David Goggins is more competing maybe against himself. More
What I was yesterday, I better
Yeah.
be better today.
it was more to David Goggins is more like that, and both is a great example of hyper competitiveness,
Diabolicness.
like I'm talking about extreme.
Diabolic.
But the difference, of course, here is that Michael Jordan is more of an external and David Goggins is more of an internal. But both cases showcase the very resilience, the strength, not just mentally but also physically what they can do. David Goggins is a
Yeah, because both of them,
Jesus.
even though we say they're both like this in the extreme spectrum in a sense, but very respectable individuals. Basically, what they have done on their own professions. On top of that,
Yes.
Because example, now that as we know, David Goggins as an ex-Navy SEAL, bro. Have you seen example the marathons he has run?
Oh yes.
That one ran that he or the I'm not sure was it a full marathon or what was it, but the race was supposed to like take, was it 2 days or a day and a half or something like that, like basically that runners should be coming in the morning.
Yeah.
David Goggins was already finishing the race while it was still dark.
Yes.
People was resting while he was still running on there.
Yes.
He finished the race while others were still resting. Because if I remember right, it was like a multiple day run, or at least noticeably long, like 200 kilometers.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, yeah, Ali. He said, nah, bro, I'll keep pushing. And if I remember right, he said himself that it's something that he wouldn't even suggest. Like it wasn't even healthy because his body was basically in pain. It wasn't nothing. It was purely in pain.
He has told this story when he was running 100 miles. They had like a track 100 miles run, and at the mile somewhere his feet like started to have the microfractions and they started to break down, and they broke down and he started to bleed piss like so he started to piss bleed, and it was bad to a point, but to him it was more to the mental state.
Kind of like a challenge.
It had nothing to do with physical.
Body breaks, but mind no.
Yeah, because afterwards he had gone through twice the Hell Week. Think about it.
Yeah,
not
I
just
remember.
once, twice, and it has been more to him about he proving to himself anything else, and but of course we can critique him as a human being, but you said greatly that very respected in their profession. And 100% agree, very respected in both of their professions.
Because actually I had, even though I'm sticking to this one great guy, I had a conversation with one friend about the mentality of him, because I was like, yeah, that mentality, tough, bro, right there. And the friend told me straight up that, no, she thinks that the mentality that he has is sickening, in her opinion, that it is toxic, in a sense. And I was like, why? She said, like, when you have to constantly be in a go mentality, it's not good for you. It's not healthy for you. And of course, I had a slightly little differing view on it, but I kind of like we mentioned, it's a very end of the spectrum type of mentality that you have to be constantly on a push my body. So I was like, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, as we said, we still respect it the way he put it, because that's a tough end of the spectrum. Not a lot of people can do what he does, and a lot of people have tried to do what he does, and admitted that it's kind of, you gotta be a little bit loony in your head to, at least for an average Joe, to be constantly on that mental state. You gotta be a little bit loony to maintain it for a long period of time. Doing it a couple of days already makes you hate your life, so to say. And even when we said about, funny thing, even though we both have trained martial arts, we didn't say martial arts immediately. We started going with it.
We started because martial arts is, I would say, almost completely different when it comes to mentality. Because you have to be very strong mentally, because for the love of God, you are getting punched and kicked and submitted and wrestled. But I was just asking, maybe you had a question too, but I was asking that, what would you say, would David Goggins fare well he would survive, but would he fare well in a mixed martial arts, boxing or kickboxing or MMA, with that kind of mentality? Because there is a difference
There is
between,
difference.
because when you're just conquering yourself, of course you conquer the world, but it's a very big difference when you are physically punished, somebody punching you or kicking you. It's a very big difference when you're just running and you're just in your head trying to overcome that conversation that you have with yourself. Your thoughts?
My honest thought, based on the minute or small knowledge of the combat sport that I have grown during the years, I would say like this. Even though, like I said, David Goggins' like mentality and the things he has done is utmost respectable and admirable, but because combat sport is such a different sport, and especially if we are using David Goggins at his age right now, it's a different story if you told me like when he was like a teenager or something and he started training then of course I might change the tone of speaking, but because the age that he is right now, of course it's not restricting that he couldn't become a pro, but would he be like in the pinnacle of like a combat sport? I would say no, even with the mentality that he has, because one, he's old right now in that sense that body, the reflexes might not be there anymore. We already know he has a bunch of injuries in his leg. He might be mentally tough, but as we all know, our body and bone structure might be tough, but our brains are not tough.
Yes.
Our brains are not tough. You get a little concussion and that's it. You hit your head a little bit wrong, that's it. As we know, combat sport is a sport that you can die, even though he's a Navy SEAL, as we said. Because I remember somebody brought an argument like, what would happen if a professional mixed martial arts chef or boxer fought with a Navy SEAL? And I'm not sure, was it a Ranger or whoever said like, he be honest, like 9 out of 10 times the mixed martial arts will whoop the ass, because that person's training is like, the question if it's about the killing, then of course then he might say the Navy SEAL will go first because their intention is to kill. But if you talk about just regular fighting, of course then the one who practices the fighting will most likely take over the competition and win. So it's kind of like with the same sense that David Goggins, his training, his profession was made for the killing and for the commanding people and so on. And as you mentioned yourself, the mentality that he has right now is more about competing with himself.
Yes.
But then comes the mixed martial artist, which is about competing with people. Trying to diffuse your mindset from other people's opinion, other people's, like, let's say trash talk, for example, and so on. So you got a lot of inputs coming towards you, in a sense that you are not just competing with yourself, you're also competing with person and also competing with his limbs, let's say like that. So yeah, I would say like he would manage, but he wouldn't survive in the sense of becoming pinnacle of combat sport, at least with the current stage that he is right now. That's my, at least honest opinion.
Yes.
But how about you? For example, from a boxing background.
Boxing background. I can say this, that if he was, now I'm taking that if he started now, he wouldn't survive in a boxing match to longer rounds. Maybe 3 rounds, yeah, he could like manage, he could do well. But after that, no. At right now, no. But let's say he was younger and he started younger age. The same mentality, same body, but just younger. And he started then. He would climb up the ranks, but he wouldn't be he might be a professional, but he wouldn't be in those places where they are maybe top 30 to a top 30 rank or top 50 rank. I'm not saying that it's easy to go there or hard to go. It's not. If you are a professional fighter MMA, boxing, whatever you have at mixed martial arts, and we talk about the real one, the Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, boxing, wrestling. If you are professional in these sports, respect to you, because it takes a lot from a human being, man or woman. Takes a lot from a human being to be in that kind of environment.
And it's a really risky sport, especially boxing. That's something that every MMA guy has said.
Yes.
Like especially boxing, because in MMA we got the submission.
Yes.
Wrestling. Of course, it's a versatile in a sense, but you don't get constantly hit in the head unless you're just dumb.
Yes.
But in a boxing, the majority of punches will be coming toward your head, which is really dangerous, and
there is
one wrong hit and your game is basically over. Even in
have you seen? Of course, you have seen Creed 1.
Yeah.
Remember the champion that Adonis is fighting against, an Englishman, a white Englishman with a in the first one, Bellow, if I remember correct his name. He is a real fighter. He has been a real champion, a boxer. And he has explained in his house, he explained with his wife, he explained it that he has been hit more, almost triple the times that normal fighter would be hit.
Oof, that's bad.
And at that age, he's 40 something now, he said that he has memory loss, or he has trouble to fall asleep, or he has kind of like those brain fogs, you know, that you all of a sudden you
forget what you were about to do or say.
Like he has frequently those, even though he is in a relatively young age to have those, but because he has been getting hit so many times in the head that now the tolls are starting to come up. And for sure, anybody, you can ask anybody who has ever been in some kind of mixed martial arts, or martial arts in a sense, knows that boxing is one of the dangerous sports ever, because
damage on the head,
the damage that it causes, and more so because there is no other sport that goes, a martial art that goes for that long. There's no sport that goes 10 rounds.
12 rounds, whatever.
12
what
rounds.
Is the longest? Like
12 rounds is now longest. Before, think about it, for Muhammad Ali times, it was 15.
Well, you ain't even functioning at that point. You just doing
15.
something.
Somebody, think about when Muhammad Ali was fighting Joe Frazier in Africa in the heat. 15 rounds.
You're losing calories. If you ain't 3 kilos lighter by the end of it, I know.
They both admitted that they thought they will die.
I mean, first of all, you got hydration. You got dehydrated. And on top of that, you're still using your glucose storage, bro. You diabolical right there.
I'm telling you, but all this said, in boxing, difference. That's why he said MMA fighters. Anybody who asks, even him, he will. And I also agree that boxing is much more dangerous. The reason being that in MMA, if you fall down, if you don't showcase that you are still in the game, it's cut out immediately. And usually it goes like that. But in boxing, thank God nowadays, the refs are much more sensitive to if something happens. If they see just a little bit that you're wobbly, they will enter and cut the fight, which in my opinion is so good, such a good thing. But there is, for example, a fight, Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti. Brilliant boxing match. But if you watch that fight, you clearly see that those men are not the same afterwards.
A lot of like, I've seen way too many boxers who have, you can see like from their eyes something has been gone. Even the guy, I don't know what was he, this Latina guy, or what was he from? But there were like videos like made of him when he was still like fresh, young enough, coming up fighter. You know, he was a great fighter.
Yeah.
But then after that one boxing fight, the damage that his brain took, he became literally kind of like half vegetable in a sense. I don't.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of pictures.
He was from Mexico, if I remember correctly, and the fight. What happened was that his brain collided with his skull so badly that it caused such a big swelling that when they went to the ER, they had to
Cut it off.
cut it. And because everybody who has worked for ER or knows these kind of things knows that if the swelling is normal, if it swells a little bit, because you are getting hit in the head with such a great force. But if it causes for such a big swelling, it can cause damage. For example, the clogs that
You clog your brain, and then
all of a sudden
part of your brain starts dying out, and
Yes.
You got.
So before it goes to that extreme, the doctors will open your skull and they will cut that part out. And unfortunately, it can happen that your brain then is just partly cut out. And
Just for anybody who didn't know, if you didn't know, your brain is not covering the whole area in your brain.
No.
You didn't know that, but now you know.
now you know.
Now you know. And also, I was thinking about, because also in MMA, even though we're talking about strength, but it's part of the topic. In MMA, why I would say it's much more easier in a sense, not as an easy sport, but easier for a person, is that there's options of finishing the battle.
Yes, true.
Or the combat. There's other options. Like, for example, we have seen people who have like kicked somebody's leg so many times that they gave up because
Yes.
of the leg. Or what I mentioned earlier, submission. There are
Yes.
other means that you
Yes.
can like not damage the brain directly.
Yes.
So that help easing up. Even though Muay Thai, we say there's elbow and so on and so on, but a lot of cases, or there's multiple cases where fight has been finished by a leg kick.
Yes.
Or some other way of, rather than going straight for the head.
And I would much rather see a fight end in a leg kick than in the head if we talk about just purely well-being of a fighter. I would much
Rather have a broken leg than a broken brain or whatever. And that's that. And also when you mentioned before about the difference of, like, example, when we talk about Kobe Bryant and compared to like combat sport, at least strength in the mentality part. Yeah, I agree with that, because of course we have seen like the strong fighters, the ones that have like a strong mentality, but the strength of the mentality is kind of bit different in a sense. Like they have strong will, yes, but the mentality might be, let's say, a little here and there, a bit. Like, of course, toward the fighting in itself, they might be like very stubborn.
Yes,
I would say, but necessarily the strength might not be there
for sure
in itself.
That's why I'm gonna give you guys now inside information about fighting. When you see a fighter who gets knocked down and then comes back up, that is not that he's knocked out. His brain has not hit the skull, because if his brain hits the skull, that means that he will have that.
Start swaying around, start wobbling around.
He's not there, or she. But when you see a fighter, for example, they get knocked down and they jump back up and they start again fighting, that is that mental strength. At that particular moment, they mentally are not prepared for that fight or not prepared for that moment. So it overcomes their emotions and their thoughts overcomes themselves. And it doesn't need much. One good time punch and they fall, even if it doesn't do any damage, they fall instantly because their mentality is not there. But then very strong fighters, they know how to turn that around. For example, there is a famous fight, Tyson Fury against Wilder, and he got knocked down. Clean. And Wilder, he was that kind of bomber, like...
Yeah, he already was taunting the...
Like, he is that kind of... His nickname was Bronze Bomber.
I know. He had that random ass punch from nowhere.
I'm telling you right now, that man, when it comes to basics of boxing, not good. Like he didn't have good basics when it comes to boxing itself.
He didn't fight the classical way of like boxing in a sense.
And when you
kind of like brawler.
Yeah, kind of a brawler. And when you are at the lower level or in the middle level, you still can get, or you can still get through it, because the skill level is not that high, so the skill doesn't overcome the power. But in his case, the power was like
overcame a lot of things.
a lot of things. But now the problem was that he matched with someone who was very skillful. Power was there, yeah, but he was very skillful. So now, when he got knocked down, his mentality, he was there, sure, but he was not fully there. So when he got back up, he had such a strong will, and he was such stubborn that his mentality shifted and he became strong in that mentally. So he won that fight. Tyson Fury. I don't know.
I remember. I've seen all three of them.
You have seen that. That is example.
And did you notice the demonstration on how his mentality actually started crumbling after the third loss?
Yes.
Which kind of shifted his personality for a moment. But
For
now,
sure.
if I remember right, he kind of like slowly starts to go back into the bronze bomber stage. But it's kind of still a little bit shifted from what it used to be.
I don't know, because he has lost.
He won at least one fight.
One fight he won, then he lost again. If I remember correctly.
He's changed man now.
He is changed because if you don't, like I said, in a higher top 10, for example, if you are a top 10 fighter, it doesn't, the power will not help you. It can compensate, but not for a long time. You know this. If you don't have the skills, the knickknacks to do what needs necessary to be done, especially if somebody has already figured you out. Tyson Fury already beat you. People see how they beat you, and they will just copy that game plan, and then you will be beaten. That is a very, very straightforward, easily simplified.
And also the same things applies to pretty much all the competitive sports or
Yes.
any sports that
Yes.
require you to compete with yourself. But actually, I got a couple of like groups that I want to mention.
Okay, good,
One of
good.
them, of course, is still, if you keep on the sport part. For example, the F1 racers.
Oh,
for
yes.
example, the amount of G's that they gotta go through, because they have to actually be physically and mentally strong.
Very true.
And one that is almost, at least personally, I immediately connect to them is fighter jets. Because they're the ones that actually gotta go through certain G's to keep their
Yes.
keep their body, because they have to be actually physically
Yes.
strong, not maybe buff, but strong in a
Yes.
sense that they can keep up with, example, 9 G's.
Yes.
Which is, if you don't understand what is 9 G's, is basically 9 times worse gravity,
Yes.
which is not a lightweight, let's just say like that. A lot of people already pass out around what, 2 G's, 3 G's?
The normal, it was like 2, 3.
Yeah, something like
Then
that.
if you're well trained and strong mentality, it's like 5, 6. And if you have any type of experiences with those high pressure mentality or high G's, then yeah, it goes to 8.
Yeah, something like that.
It was something like that.
Like really high G's. And F1 drivers go through
Yes.
like 3 to 5 easily, constantly.
Yes.
With the turns, especially, if you don't understand, drive fast and make a corner, and you will understand what
Yes.
I mean. What I mean. But
Don't do it with a crappy car.
yeah, with that, somebody sends next message. Yeah, I did it with Honda Civic. And what the hell happened?
What the hell, we flipped over, right? Don't do that, bro.
Don't do that. You don't get grip enough. But for example, those guys are like, again, one good demonstration of having like two things at the same time.
Yes.
Strength in both departments, because one strength is required for them not to pass out, and another strength is required them to execute whatever mission they had to do.
For sure.
But the things that I actually want, the last two things I want to mention is parents,
Yes.
for example.
Good parents.
Good parents. And connected to parents, the second thing I want to mention is women. Because I got to shout out my women as well. You will understand in a second what I mean.
I want to see where you're going with this.
One, the parents, example, the guys who were not raised here, or immigrant parents, for example, who have traveled to a whole nother country to adapt another culture and raise their kids still to be very decent human beings.
Yes.
That requires some type of strength.
And I have to pinpoint, now we talk about our parents, of course. They came here without internet.
God damn it.
They didn't have any. My father just knew it's up north.
Somewhere along the line.
That's that. He didn't know language, he didn't have money, he didn't have nothing. He came here as a young man,
Young buck.
and like you said, he
Got
married
you.
a woman, he found a job, he made a family, he raised a kid, even in this environment.
That's the sad. Like, even though, example, in my situation, me and Pops are not in like the greatest term or whatever, but I gotta respect him the way that he brought us over here, and also how he has done his own thing in a sense of like, got his studies, got, for example, when he moved from here to another place, got his studies over there and started living there, and so on. So I'm like, that's a, like, it requires some type of strength in itself. And already based on how I've heard from mom, he has all his own issues already on top of his head.
That's a different story.
That's all stories of its own. But even my mom, example, imagine raising kids on your own in a foreign country where you don't have a lot of like close family members to help you with. That requires a lot of mental gymnastic in itself, which is something really respectable. Any parents or single parents or parents that are together, bro, if y'all kept 10 toes down, took care of your kids and raised them to be a proper people, even if you didn't, if you tried to raise them as proper people, but they chose wrong life, still respect to y'all. Because like we mentioned earlier, environment affects also.
For sure.
And, even though some might do everything right, but some environments might affect wrong.
For sure.
So I respect those. But the one that you were actually more interested in.
Yeah, I'm interested because now we not only are shout outing to parents who do a terrific job, but we are just taking off our hats to parents who do that. Not you took example of immigrants, but we are let's say just parents in the local town, in the local city. They to raise a child well, it's a difficult job, and especially nowadays when there's a lot of things that can affect your child. There's nothing more better than to see a parent who actually care for their child and they are willing to put their needs, the child's needs and wants above their own. There's nothing better to see.
So the pinnacle or the reason why I mentioned females,
Let's go.
of course, there's the overall respect, and then there's the specific ones that
Of course, we respect women, right?
Of course, duh. But I mean,
course.
like the type of the strength, in a sense.
Yeah.
Overall, is at least because as a guys, we haven't experienced it. We can't really put too much of our own view into it, other than the ones that we got from that gender that experienced it. Is, for example, menstrual cycle. What I've at least heard from females, pretty much so far from every female, is that it's one of the worst pains, and they have to go through it almost every week. No, every week, every month.
Every month, yeah.
And on top of that, you know, statistically, it's said that females have higher pain tolerance compared to boys.
Yeah.
This is one player of it as well. That when they have to go around a year, 12 times?
12 times about, yeah.
For around a week through a pain cycle. Of course, it kind of like forces you to train toward the pain tolerance, which is like, imagine as a guy, you constantly like your balls hurt your balls hurt, your dick's bleeding, and so on. So I mean, it might sound, comical right now.
Yeah, but
when you imagine, because like I said, we can't really put too much input into it because we don't really experience it in that sense. But based on the vocal wording of a female, I'm like, that's tough, bro.
Yes.
That's tough, and hats off to that, just for the sake that they can, reproduce and give us fine offspring. So that's one thing that I gotta respect on. And then the one big thing that I have to really raise hat is the pregnancy.
Yes.
Pregnancy and birth. Bro, that's diabolical.
That takes a lot from a human being.
Like, hey, gotta throw hats off to every female that has been pregnant and given birth to a child. No matter whatever the child became, stupid or the greatest person, just the process in itself is blessing and diabolically respectable. Because, like I said, if I remember right, it's qualified as one of the painfulest. Like, of course, there's each person has different type of pregnancy.
sure,
and birth.
for sure, for
Some
sure.
just the kid, and some go through the hell too, basically.
Like, yeah, it depends, and even in menstrual cycle, it depends a lot on the woman's
Anatomy and
anatomy and how they perceive and what kind of foods they eat, and
But
it's
overall.
but in overall, for sure. For example, the closest thing that as men we can have is if you remember if you had infected stomach.
kidney stones.
Or not kidney stones, but kidney stones usually got a lot of people don't have them, but a lot of people, for example, have food poisoning.
Yeah.
Or they have some kind of virus or bacteria that hurts their stomachs badly. That is, for example, if diarrhea.
I mean, it ain't that bad. It's just annoying.
If you have stomach pain during diarrhea, you know,
I know
it's annoying.
It's hella annoying.
And it's not fun. But ladies, when they talk, they explain it that it's kind of like that, but lower.
Yeah. And
So-
some have added that they feel like they're being stabbed
Yes.
and poked with something constantly around the area.
I have to say this to ladies. Please let me know because I haven't still had any lady tell me this.
Out here doing the
when
devil
you
hula,
have
you know?
when you have that time of a month, before it comes or during that, try to eat a steak. Because I have heard, my ears tell stories, streets talk. I have heard that the steak helps with the period.
Why is that? High
This is
protein?
this is my research. When that happens, the iron deficiency goes up. So basically, your levels of iron drop, and that's why you have that kind of pain, for example.
Reasonable, because you lose blood as well.
And of course, it's red meat. So basically, it gives you that.
Okay, reasonable.
So that was the research that I found.
You need to start. Hey, yo, ladies, Albania, Kosovo ladies.
But I'm talking about now every lady that is listening to this or to tell to a friend, please let us know how it comes about because I'm interested because if that's the case, to me, of course, if you don't eat red meat, you don't eat red meat, that's fine. But I'm talking about women who eat red meat. I want them to try it and tell me, is it helpful? Because if so, when I have a wife, hopefully, and if I have daughters, it's a helpful thing to know that, hey, eat a steak, it helps you.
But have you tried Googling or checking? Like,
that's what I'm saying, that my Google said that was the iron thing. Deficiency that happens, and that's true. Like for a lot of women, iron is one of the elements that is defiant, like they don't have a lot of it in their blood. And it's very normal because they lose blood constantly.
Explains,
right?
Explains.
But yeah, in a sense, I do agree on that being pregnant, giving birth, having menstrual cycle, it's painful and it's not fun in a sense. But I would say also that it's thank God it is constructed that way. Because if it was not that way, I don't know how things then, because every woman who hates menstrual cycles, I understand them. I cannot empathize with them because I don't know what it's like you said.
The process. What's the process?
But there is also a reason why it's happening, and the reason usually is that it's cleaning itself up.
For the next candidate.
So in a sense, if you have them, it's a good sign. It's a healthy sign usually. I have known people, unfortunately, that their periods stopped altogether because they were either very in a low percentage body fat, so
or
basically,
high stress.
or they had a very high stress, or they were, I must say even this, they were taking stuff that you ain't supposed to take in your body in order to compete, to be athletic performance, to go on stage, to perform. I know ladies that had those, that for example, they had a few months they didn't have periods at all. And it took them, I'm gonna take example of one lady. She was a not a bodybuilder, but you know the ones who go on stage, go on stage and
is the
fitness,
kind of like
body
fitness type of, you know, the
body fitness, and nice girl. She has a family and all blessings to her. And I know her from my job, like when we talk about before Corona, before I was even in army actually. I knew her from there, and then she always treated me with respect. I treat her with respect, and then years come, I follow her on Instagram, and then one day we met and we talked about this, and she told me about this stuff. And now she didn't tell me about her story, but she told me in a general sense. In my conclusion, it was her. Basically, a few months before the show, she had some sickness, then she got well, period stopped. She went on stage, she did the thing, she went out of stage. It took her 6 months
to recover or
to gain her hormonal balance back, meaning that her periods are normally coming and she has that hormonal balance where for example, the estrogen goes up, estrogen goes down, testosterone goes up, testosterone goes down. Now, I don't know if you believe in this, but I believe that you do that for a couple of times, or you do that in more than once, it will harm your body for a long period of time. We talk about in the future years. But that, for example, it's a period where I cannot have any say-so, in a sense. I can just tell the story that women have told me or have read from somewhere. But the stake that you mentioned, it was streets told me, and then I Googled it, and this is my conclusion. So ladies, if
y'all try the steak, let me know. But yeah, what I was simply saying is, like, because as we have seen, pregnancy is statistically qualified as one of the painful process that human gotta go through. So that's why I also gotta give shout out there, because hey, that's how we are here right now.
Yes, that's true.
That's one way we are here.
That's true.
And also, of course, there's the situation where somebody is unable to give birth normally, so they have to have the other way means of wean. So that's tough in itself as well.
It's not fun.
And let's not even talk about the ones that have to go through triplets or quadruplets or something like that. That's diabolical. Like,
Jesus.
That's diabolical.
Jesus, like I know a lady that she has 6 sons.
She was putting the work.
5 sons? Hold up, I'm counting. No, 5, my bad. No, my bad, 6. My bad. She had 6 sons. It was like 2 years, 1 year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And the last 2 ones were
Twins. Dang.
But she started her own business.
Actually, funny thing, I saw, like, was it yesterday, a video about, like, this, because you know Japan's economy right now, the birth rate is going and all that.
Same over here.
Yeah, but in Asian city countries, it's kind of a bit worse. Let's say like that, a bit worse. But then there was this one champ, let's just say like that, this one champ of a female and champ of a guy, that the female was about to give birth to her gave birth to her 6th kid. Based on the picture, she was still young on top of that.
Okay.
So basically, they've been putting the work, and I read the comments. Everybody was like, "Bro, that dad be working overtime on this economy, bro. That dad doing crazy work right there. He putting the work basically, because the economy gonna put him up if it's what we heard. Japan's economy basically with the birth rate. Oh, yes. But I said, you know, hey, if the rest ain't gonna do it, who gonna do it?
Who else?
Who else?
Who else?
Exactly. So, and the mom seemed to be happy too. So I was like, they will put in the
Yeah.
work. Put in the work.
Tell me this. This is true for my culture, but also from your culture, from Africa as well. You see, for example, two grandparents or wife and husband. You never see them touch each other. Never once.
You didn't even know how that shit happened.
But they had 11 kids, 12 kids,
Aye.
7 kids. You would like, I never see you touch each other. In the most cases, they even hate each other.
Hey, hey, when the door closed, at least, because I don't know if you have been in slick situation, but I have been in a slick situation where I was minding my business. I was going kitchen or something, but you know when females gather around,
Oh man,
you start hearing this.
there's a lot of stories that you don't want to listen.
I wasn't paying attention, but I was still paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I heard some things that explain this scenery. Why we might, as a kids, we might not see anything happening, and somehow people be popping out. But then when you heard the stories, you're like, I don't know, you were freak like that. Our parents freak, bro. They just don't show you. But once the closed doors or the door closes, bro, they freak. I bet your pops still freak. I bet on G. If my mom's or the parents' female stories were true, they freak. They freak. And I said, I see. That's why I was born. I see. That's why I was born. I see you. Keep pushing. Keep doing what you were doing. Even in homeboy situation, I said, I see how y'all, so many of y'all, I see. Because I heard the stories. Wasn't my intention, but they were speaking so loudly and my door was closed, so I was justified.
Yes.
I was justified.
You mind your business.
I'm minding my business. I was playing games, but then I heard like,
But
he was doing this and that. I like, in what time?
They put you on business.
Bro, I'm hearing this place, that location. I'm like, you mean the same location I was walking in? Damn, bro, y'all freak. Y'all freak. So, no, because in culture-wise, of course, they have the appearance, we gotta be respectable all, especially in front of kids. Their affection is almost non-shown in front of kids, but, when the door closed, bro.
Just wait.
How do you think you came to the world? That's the first thing. It's kind of similar to the, when we talked about, like, you sometimes think about, how did my dad back my mom? And then you check out the album, and you're like, I see what you did. I see what you did. It's kind of similar.
Hey, gentlemen.
Game is game.
Game is game.
They put in the work, so that's why I'm like, don't worry about it. They freak.
All that to the side.
Sideways.
Sideways, because we are talking about strength. Of course, you need to be that. You need to be strong. But to you, my statement, your thoughts.
Okay.
Strength is one of those things that are best. One of the things that are the best thing because it's hard to fake it. People respect strong people.
You mean physically?
Physically, emotionally, mentally. And now when situation arises or something happens, usually people tend to go with the strongest one, mentally or spiritually or physically. And it goes to a point that strength, it can be trusted. You can be trusted that you are strong. Your thoughts on this?
Well, I would say like that qualifies, I think, mostly on physical department, because as we have seen, hypothetically, let's say with our body physics, let's say you're walking around with your female and some, let's say, drunk person or whatever sees you and trying to catcall your girl, some shit like that. Based on our physiques, of course, we might be strong, but we don't look strong. Based on your physiques, 9 out of 10 times, I guarantee that guy will be willing to say something because they don't think that you're strong enough like that. Because this is one thing that somebody said on martial arts, example, like Bruce Lee and all that. We all, look very scrawny in that sense, but we know how to fight.
Yes.
And that causes the issue that people will test you out. compared to somebody who doesn't know how to fight but looks very strong in that sense, 9 out of 10 times nobody will like be willing to poke that bear because they think that the person is strong, even though they might know jack shit, but because they look apparently strong. That's why I said the physical part. Yes, I would agree on that the appearance brings out the sense of, okay, this is strong, and automatically, and you will be actually ironically treated differently if you look strong,
for sure,
compared to somebody who doesn't look strong. Mental department, it's kind of a bit of jiggle and juggling with, because you might be mentally strong, but you might be scrawny and you might be bullied by that. So you might not 10 out of course, the people who know where to look will respect you. But let's say, remember when we were in like middle school or primary school, ain't nobody care about your mental strength.
Yeah, for sure.
Ain't nobody, if you look like a scrawny kid, you will be treated like a scrawny kid. And that's that pretty much. The rest was history. Of course, later on in life, when you grow up and you know what to look at, then you're like, okay, I respect that. Good example is, you have seen Captain America movies.
Yeah.
For example, the one where he's shown as a scrawny kid or whatever.
Just clips, but yeah.
Where he was scrawny kid, you know, he was qualified as he had the mental strength and, you know, the capacity of being big guy. But body-wise, he was just dark.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And you saw how people treated him. But then because the other ones saw his mentality is what it is, they were like, he's better for experiment. He's suitable for big man thing. And now we see what we see right now. But it wasn't because he was already buff. It was because his mentality was where he was. He had that strength in the mind. So, like I mentioned, yes, I will say that people respect you, appearance-wise, so physical-wise, but mental-wise, it requires very specific situation and individuals that pay attention toward that in order to have. But overall, it's always optimal for you to have all of them. All of them at the same time.
What about spiritually?
Hey, most definitely, you want to have the spiritual, because
I'm talking about the respect side, or how the people view you. You know, we were talking about strength physically and mentally. Yeah. But now take spiritually as well.
Well, spiritually, yeah.
How do you see it?
Spiritually, well, that's a whole different department in itself. And actually, if you ask me personally, the most important strength that you have to have is the spiritual strength, because a lot of battles that we go through ain't physical and not purely just mental as well. Of course, there's big play in mental department, but example, when we talk about Hollywood or whatever, a lot of it's purely spiritual. Like you can always throw your hands with whatever, but if your spirit is weak, you will fundamentally crumble down. So we go back to the prayers. Get connected with God. Advertisement right here. Get connected to the God. But yeah, spiritual is very important. At least in my perspective, it's one of the most important. If you get your spiritual strength on point, everything else crumbles down or falls into pieces. Much more easier if you have the spirit strength. And when you have a proper spirit strength, you also have proper ability to lead people, because you have the faith with you as well, in that sense. But how about you? How do you view the spiritual, physical, mental, and then it's disclaimer on the
spirit? Yeah. To me, physically being strong is a very important aspect as a human being, because, like you said, mentally you can be strong, or spiritually, but physically, not to look strong. Like, you are 100% right. When you look strong, when you're that big buff dude, a lot of people will not try to mess with you. And even in situations where they tend to speak much more easily their mind, because they're not threatened by somebody else. Usually that is the case. We had actually one guy, now I'm talking about the previous job, one guy, 198 centimeters tall, 140 kilos, and is athletic. We talk about he can move. But of course, he's not like fast or super strong, but he can move and he's strong. On top of that, he has MMA experience. When you look at him, he looks this Viking, like bearded with the braids, like he looks like a really tough dude. You speak to him, he's a very nice guy.
He's chill.
Like he's chill, he's a nice guy.
He's chill.
But to him, for example, I never saw somebody like, actually a story, I have told this before. There was a time where there was a situation where a guy was not playing nice and was doing trouble, let's say it like this. Causing issues. And one of our colleagues, I wasn't at the work at the time, but one of our colleagues went to him, to this person. Now that colleague, he's shorter than me. I'm relatively tall, but he's shorter than me. He's a skier. So he's muscular, yes, but he's not like buff. You know, muscular like us. And he goes up to the dude and they start like arguing with one another, debate like, hey, you need to get out. No, I'm not going out. Like, you know.
What you gonna do?
And they start to go like at it with one another. And now to understand this guy, he's not a fighter. He doesn't have aura. He doesn't have authority like we talked last episode. He's just in good physique and a good guy. And then this
Big guy, big fella.
Viking
Big fella.
comes like behind him and he's just standing there like this. The guy who was causing trouble, he just looks at him.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just
It just
switch up.
calms down, leaves.
Switch up. Let me just switch up. Let me just keep it pushing, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, appearance affects a big degree on, because if you have seen, like I mentioned, Animal Kingdom is a good demonstration.
Yes.
The bigger animal, the bigger threat it usually is.
But let's say that that guy, that Viking, and I was put in a boxing ring. I would beat him. Even though he's bigger than me, he's taller than me, he has more strength than me, I would beat him. To the point, just because I have in boxing, I have more experience, I know what to do there, and I have what needs to be having when you go in there.
What,
But
Big Dick Michael or what
who
he
said that?
What I need to be. Hold on. What
Hey,
the hell?
isn't that the number one thing? The bigger you have, the better results.
Game is game. You gotta drop the meat on the table. Hey, yo.
The Adam 22 situation. But physical strength, the reason why I respect it, and actually if a woman, for example, is physically strong, I am attracted to her, is because especially for a woman, it takes so much from a woman to become physically strong. And when you see that, you only have to respect it. And more so, you have to understand that she mentally is also strong. Because a woman, we know, to pack muscle and to actually become strong, you cannot just, like a man, you said,
couple of
time weights and then you're strong, but you actually have to put in the work, and to put in the work constantly in the gym, meaning, or in some kind of CrossFit, athletic, whatever. It means that you have to eat well, and you have to sleep well, and you have to train well. With these combined, consistent over the years, you become very strong. And for a woman, it takes much more time, and it's much more harder to. So therefore, if she comes to a point that she has muscles and she's strong, I am very attracted to her, I cannot lie.
Yo, reference right there. Y'all heard, girls. Y'all heard. You know what he like. You know what he like.
So,
shout out, you know
Right.
You can always slide to DMs and just tell your appearance, your strength wise, your rating, and so on and so on. We hook you up.
It doesn't mean that you have to be like roided up, but
He likes the buffs.
Just athletic, strong woman.
He likes to be lifted, you know what I'm saying?
Not like that.
He likes to be lifted. You heard?
Not like that, bro.
He does not want to do the devil's hula. He wants the female to do devil hula on him. You know, the ones who likes to be dominated. That's him. You know what I'm saying? I say what I say. I just confirm what he said.
You're just saying.
I just confirming what he said.
To mental strength. To me, mental strength, it comes from more of a necessity, like anything else. It comes from a necessity that because you were weak at that moment physically, you couldn't defend yourself, for example. You had to be mentally strong in order to survive that encounter. Whatever, your example took a bullying. You won't get bullied, or if you get bullied, it's a very let's see what happens if you are looking strong, if you are that Viking almost 2 meters tall, 7 feet tall, meaning 7 feet tall, over 225 pounds, like he's 140 kilos. If you're that kind of type of guy, if somebody is bullying you, it's not physically. Let's say it like this. If they're doing physically, then there's a death wish from that. But bullying, for example, it requires certain mental strength to survive that. And then usually when people get bullied, they tend to go two routes, just like villains and heroes. As a bully, either you go to a villain route and you start to become a menace.
Society, starts tweaking.
Like, for example, our sergeant that we had, the one who went to Japan, he went to the villain route because he was bullied throughout preschool and high school. In high school, it was earned because he started to say some goofy stuff and people called him out of it. So it was on him. But in preschool, I don't know his story, don't get me wrong. In high school, he was bullied, and then afterwards, when he went to the military, he stayed in the military just to get that sense of power.
The authority.
You heard him.
Yeah,
you
I saw him. He was tweaking, bro. I mean, later on we became cool, but I saw what people meant with the tweaking. I was like, alright, I see you.
You get what I'm saying? And then
you could see technically.
Yeah.
You could see in army the people who were like bullied in like
For sure.
and were coming from insecure background in a sense.
sure.
Now they got the authority and they start
For
tweaking.
sure. And then you go the hero route. For example, Kobe Bryant, we just mentioned, he got bullied because he was black. Straight. In Italy.
No stereotypes were
No
heard.
stereotypes, but that's the
No
fact.
stereotypes were heard in
he
this
was-
conversation.
He was isolated because he was black in Italy. Physically, he couldn't do anything about it. Mentally, he had to be strong in order to survive that. So now he took the hero route. So basically, he just worked on himself to become a better person, to become a better basketball player. And now, rest in peace to his soul, but afterwards, he became one of the most decorated NBA player in history.
Amen. Put in the work.
That part. Spiritually, you said it, I would say I agree in that sense that if your spirit is strong, then the rest of it kind of falls in part. Because to break a spirit, you can break people mentally, physically, but to break a spirit, a human spirit, especially if they are like in tune to God, it's so hard.
They're cooked.
It's so
They're
hard
cooked.
to break someone's spirit. And it comes down to, I'm talking about now, the religious that I have read. Like you said, it's internal, all that. When people decide to do something bad, it comes from inside. You don't just,
Hey, today I'm going to shoot the place
I'm
up.
going to shoot the place up. But it goes from inside where they have that voice. Usually the devil is doing his deed.
Hey, yo, bro, you see that trigger right there?
You see what I'm saying?
You could. I'm just saying, you could. Hey, the rest is on you.
Like, I have told these kind of examples. But for example, there's shooting. Devil doesn't like, hey, go take a gun and kill. No. But it goes, man, think about if you had a gun.
What would happen?
What would happen? Then later, he says, think about how it feels. Then later, the devil says, but hey, there's a store nearby. You don't need to go there, but there's a store nearby.
I'm just saying, you remember where we get the licorice from?
Yeah. Then, after for a while, they say, but listen, let's just drive by. You don't need to see, you don't need to go in, but just drive by.
Just check around. Check
around, see how it looks. Then, the whispering comes again. Well, what about if you just go and look around? You don't need to buy anything. Like, you see where I'm going with this, that step by step, that attack, spiritual attack is upon you all the time, and it's so invisible. The devil knows. If it attacks you with all its might, up front, you will know and you will resist. But if a devil comes sneak, you don't see
it.
it.
Was good.
Because,
long time no see.
Because to understand, the devil tries to make you do it. Because you will get judged by it. Devil will say,
Hey, it was on you.
I didn't make you do it.
It was on you.
I didn't make you do it. You did it. So that is the whole point, that devil is trying to make you do stuff, but that spiritual attack is non-stop, it's constant, and bet you not, it's a lifetime. Until the day you die, until the minute, the second, the God says, this soul comes here, is to that last second, devil will try to make you sinful. And
I caught you lacking.
it goes like that.
You think you're about to pass out? I caught you lacking, bro. You thought about the booty.
There is a story about a man who was about to die, but he never declared that he believes in God. He never he was never practicing or anything. He would just
Money is good. Living the life. You need some.
And now, the moments before his death, because there is a known thing that people who will die, they will sense a little bit before they die. And he was sensing that he was close to death, and he went to the local, if I remember, it was the mosque. It's in Islam, but I don't know.
Don't quote me.
I believe it was the mosque in Islam, in Islamic religion, but I could be wrong. But
Don't quote me. He said, don't quote me on that.
But the sake for the story, I will say this: if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. He went there, and he was laid down. He was doing death, and the moment before, he said the declaration that there is only one God and one God only, and the prophet is this, and I believe that there is only one and nothing else. There's no, what's the right word? There's no associate. And that being said, the devil tried until his death, tried to push his declaration that he would die as a sinner. Because he never declared, he never even said that I pray to God. But it was, a story went like this, that the devil tried his best to not make this man one of the believers, that he declares that there is only one God. So that kind of spiritual attack it will be, for example, for majority of men, and women of course, but men, it's lust.
Sexual temptation.
Lust. And a lot of kings, even prophets, have fallen for, peace be upon them, but they have fallen for lust.
Except Jesus Christ. Y'all know what's up.
To the prophets.
Y'all know what's up. Except Jesus
peace
Christ.
be upon them. There have been situations, for example, Prophet Joseph. He was when he was thrown to the well.
Oh yeah,
He was brought to the well, from the well, and the merchants sold him to the minister. It was something like treasure holders, something like that. And the treasure holders, like he was in a high position, and the
It was
wife,
actually his sibling that sold him.
yeah, the sibling that
sold him.
Oh, because I'm going to the Quranic, the Quran story.
And I'm not sure if his name was Joseph exactly, but I get what you, because we have the story that somebody that it was the sibling that sold him off, and the claim to his father that he died.
The wolf ate them, or the beast ate them, and the whole story goes. The whole point I want to make, the Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, he was tempted because he was so handsome. He was so beautiful as a man. Think about it. Somebody describe a man beautiful.
Gay. First thing, gay.
But think about how. Do you know how of a handsome man you have to be? How a good-looking man you have to be? Then somebody describes you as a beautiful man.
We heard this alive and right now. Pause.
Hey, come on.
Pause.
Aside from this, man, he was, because when he grew up, he was so handsome. The slave owner's wife got tempted, and he was thrown
Tempted to touch.
Literally. And he was thrown in the same room, and now the woman, she tried to, take advantage of.
Tempted to touch.
Take advantage, but he ran away, even though there was a lot of temptation towards him, from him. He ran away, and then the accusations came, and then, of course, the whole trial. But all things to say, even the best ones, when it comes to historical religious texts, have fallen or have had the battles of lust. And some of them have fallen, so therefore understand that you will fight with lust. Even if you have conquered everything else, the lust is the last thing to conquer. But if you conquer that...
I mean, we got King David, bro. That
he
guy.
was
The definition of the, man falls into sin easily. Doesn't require much, you know what I'm saying? Tempted to touch.
But that makes, for example, that is I would say, a very strong spirit. A woman is on. She is ready to do whatever you like, my
you
brother.
don't lack, bro.
Whatever, everything, the way that you like, the way that she behaves, everything is on.
Bro, you gotta keep it locked in. You married to God. You ain't doing none of that.
You still refuse the temptation. That is the strongest spirit. And then the mental, of course. And physically as well, because it takes a lot from a man to not go with it.
Get, how would I say, spread the seed or raise the seed, so to say.
So that's how I view it. And to the question now.
Yep.
To you.
What?
How would you improve these things? Physical, mental, spiritual. Because I believe we are at the end of...
Yeah, we have. I think it's already over an hour, the video. At least, because I remember we started like around now. But anyway, to the question itself, it's simple. Because we already kind of have given a lot of hints already, especially in the first two. The physical part is simple. Start a routine. Start working out. It doesn't mean immediately you gotta jump into the gym and start lifting heavy weights, but start practical, like step by step, lift progressive overload, as they say. First jog if it feels the easiest form. Then after that, do example sprints. After that, start lifting little weights and so on.
Yes.
So that's one way of building like we mentioned before. Physical is the easiest because it's pretty straightforward. Place A, place B, and that's it. Then comes the next part, which is the mental part. And that is a little bit harder because it requires to a lot of people a lot of, like, how would I say? It's easier to lack on because it doesn't require...
Somebody could be naturally strong. So going to the gym, it doesn't require them that much. For example.
Yes, but the mental part is kind of like, for example, when you have to remind yourself to go to gym, even the days when you don't feel like it. It's part of that little temptation. When you feel like this is not the day, I could do it tomorrow, I could push it. Here comes the trial of, training your mental state. That no matter how you feel, you be like, nah, I gotta do it. So you take yourself to the gym. Example, you have a hard task in front of you. Rather than leaving the task and be like, I might do it tomorrow or later, do it now and get it done right now. Those are like one ways of training that, of course, I don't have a direct book that you can just purely do this and immediately after you finish this, your mental strength is on point. It's just the small things that will be constant through your lifetime that you have to fight against by little actions that you choose. Like I said, it's a mental. That's why it's the hardest, because the physical one we know. You just do AB and that's it. But the mental requires you to constantly be against the bad temptation that you have. And the spiritual part, oh Lord, a lot of us lack on this department, hands down. Not even a lot. Let's say 99.999.5.9 is lacking on this department. And it doesn't really require you much on other than, if you want to be spiritually strong, of course, people will say meditate. That's one, of course. That's one way to trigger the state of spiritual enhancement. Prayer is top rated on improving the spiritual pray to your God. If you got a spiritual book, get in contact with the spiritual book. Of course, we have a lot of disagreement. What's the truth? But get right with the truth, and get connected to a God. That's one of the ways. It's pretty much like you putting yourself into a plug and charging yourself. That's simplest way, because spiritual doesn't really have anything to do with you physically holding something, move something, but it's you just creating that bond, creating that shield around yourself. In a say, at least in Christianity, we call it the Holy Spirit. You get that Holy Spirit. You kind of like you have that spiritual condom around you.
This man, you couldn't find a better metaphor.
I mean, sex.
Jesus
Sex.
Christ.
Imagine. No. Listen. I have proof behind it.
I will cut this and put it on TikTok. I swear to God.
I have like certification behind this, because currently, as we have all agreed that our current society is very all around the world. You know, we have a lot of viruses going on of promiscuity, this and that, people fucking around.
Sin has been now
normalized.
Not even normalized.
Over, how would I say?
It's
pushed.
It's now respected.
It's more respected than trying to be very quote unquote holy or something like that. So that's why I said, when you get connected with God, it becomes your condom. Because you are protecting yourself from your environment, from the viruses that you got around.
I'm sorry.
Hey, by me saying this, I'm not telling you you'll become better, because as religious, we say we all sinners in the end of the day. But you rather have that spiritual power and connection with God, which helps you through your life and also helps you after your life. I'm just saying, and also if you want to feel in peace, because if you have a strong spirit as well, you are much more likely to be in peace with yourself and everything around you than when your spirit is weak, because then comes the temptation, this and that and that, and the third. But yeah, simply it just goes A, the easiest one, physical. Even though somebody says it's hard to gain muscle or so, it's the easiest, trust me. We as skinny motherfuckers, trust me, like I said, I've deadlifted over 200 kilos, which is
400 and something pounds.
Which is no amazing strength, but I still look scrawny. And I have benched like 115 kg, so that's
250.
That's tough, bro. But my physical appearance is still whatever. So that's why I'm like, it's simple. If you want physical strength, it's from A to B, and that's it. The mental part, it's more like A to B, back to A, back to B, go C, go back to B, go C, maybe twice and move on. And that's pretty much the constant route with it. Then the spiritual one is a bit difficult, because we got two routes all of a sudden. Then you take one, you think it's the right route, then all of a sudden you got temptation on your left, you got to take left route. But with the spiritual route, I would say the easier part is that there's always a way to come back to feeling the spirit in itself. But that's all my department. And how about you, brother, my brother, dear brother? How would you see, or how would you personally start improving those departments? Because we have 3 categories right now.
Yes. Well, I have to agree on that physical part, because I'm talking about from my life now. I feel comfortable saying this now. In all departments, I feel strong. And from all these departments, physical strength was the easiest one. It took me less time than I thought, and it took me less effort than I thought, compared to mental, or you cannot even compare to the spiritual. Because to me, I have to disagree with you on this, that spiritual might be the hardest when it comes to these 3.
Wait, which one is the hardest?
Spiritual.
That's what I said. Spiritual is the hardest.
Didn't you say the mental?
No, spiritual.
Spiritual
is the hardest.
My bad.
Like spiritual has the benefit of it, because there's a route to always come back to, but it's the hardest because there's all the players.
To me, strength always meant that you're safe, in a sense. That was my comeback, and it was a necessity above else. Now, Yeah.
Can I quickly say sorry?
Yeah.
About the physical also, why we agree on it on top of it is also that we know now that we have gained certain amount of strength. Let's say you stop training right now for certain periods, or you quote unquote lose the strength for a moment. It doesn't really require you much to do to get that memory back.
For sure.
Because your muscle remembers the state that you used to be in.
For sure.
Yeah, my bad.
Very true. Very true. Good as you said. I was not even thinking that.
Yeah, because that's the reason why I call it. It's the easiest one because your muscle remembers the state that it used to be.
Mentally, the strength-wise, it's pretty simple. Of course, there's a lot of now fitness influencers and a lot of science-based lifting. Just, I'm gonna give you guys a very simple simple way. Go lift heavy objects and put them back down.
Hey, man. Simple as that. Go shopping with your mom.
Go shopping with your mom.
Go shopping with your mom.
Exactly.
And carry
all the luggage. Go help your dad if there's a possibility.
Lumber,
go help your dad.
Go do that.
Go help your dad. You will get strong because the whole point, I have talked this in other episodes as well. The whole point is that it's a necessity. To be strong is a necessity. You will not go and I want to be strong. The will doesn't cut it, that you just want to be strong. No, there is a need for that strength. That's why, for example, when you push your muscles in the gym, the muscles will do that. Hey, we need more strength.
What's going on?
Let's put some tissue on it. Mental strength, to me. Now, to me, mental and physical strength combines because gym for me is the place. I have told this many times. To me, gym is a place that I don't want to go. I have never wanted to go, and especially now, because before it was more like when you go to the gym, you can just focus on that and nothing else. Even though it was still like more outside of your steps. But now, because we are unemployed, the gym is like now the highlight of your day. I'm going to be honest. It's much more ass than anything else. And even though now my weights have gone up tremendously and I can feel like I'm powerful, it's been every day it's been a struggle that no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Why would I go there? For what reason? But I still pack my stuff and I go.
Gotta go.
And that goes to my mental psyche, that even if it's very uncomfortable and even if I don't want to do it, I will still go. And mentality-wise, usually mentally, for example, fasting, I believe is one because it ties then to the spiritual.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
my bad.
No worries. But the fasting, for example, mentally it strengthens you up because fasting, it forces you to be very uncomfortable for a long time.
It's connected with the spirit as well.
But it's connected with the spirit. But the reason why I'm saying is because usually during the fasting, you're deprived from your needs. So when you're deprived from your needs, you kind of force yourself to be strong. And that's why, for example, being deprived from sleep is a very big indicator that if you're deprived from sleep, how do you react to stuff? How do you handle yourself? Can you still function? It's a very good indicator that how strong your mentally is. Now, I'm not saying that you willingly go and deprive us and no, I will not sleep because he said no. Don't do that.
Take it as a Bible. Start writing down.
No, don't do that. Sleep. Take your sleep. Please take your sleep. I'm talking about from a man who sleeps on average 5 to 6 hours a night and clearly has had situations where he hasn't slept for many nights. Really.
Respect your sleep.
Respect it. You need it. You need it for functioning. You need it for recovery. You need it for everything that goes. Please sleep. But I'm saying that if the situation occurs that you cannot sleep for whatever reason, it's a good sign. How you train that mentally, good way to train your mentality to be strong is to do uncomfortable things that you don't like.
True.
For example, let's say you're uncomfortable to go and talk to strangers. You do that. It's mentally it's difficult, and physically you just walk up, hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah. Hey, yo, who did?
Physically it doesn't require that much, like you said. Physically easy. The mentally is hard because it makes you to go outside of your bubble.
And you start thinking about different processes. What about if I get rejected? What about if somebody says this and that? Opinions.
Right? Or you go take a... To me, for example, it would be very uncomfortable if I go to ballet class.
Hey, yo, you scared?
I'm not scared, but it would be uncomfortable.
You scared, bro?
I'm not scared.
I'll sign you up right now, bro.
Well, let's go then.
You scared, bro?
Let's go then. Me and you, ballet.
Shit, bro.
Well, you know the place where it is.
You saw? Have you seen my leg?
Yeah.
How you think I'm going?
I don't care.
Shit.
But for example, I'm taking my example for me. That if I go to, example, a ballet class, I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it, but it's uncomfortable for me. Or let's say if I go sparring right now, I can I can do my deeds, but it would be uncomfortable after a few rounds because I am not conditioned for those sparring rounds. So in that uncomfortable situation, my mentality is then on the line. Physically, I'm out.
I'm on a game online.
Spiritually.
Amen.
Now, spiritually, to me, was the difficult part, the most difficult part, because when I first recognized that, of course, the spiritual was the actual war that you're fighting, not the mental or the physical, it kind of shifted to me. And then I started to work on that so much. And now, spiritually, I can say that I am very sound. Not invincible, God's grace. But I'm not invincible, not at all. But I can see myself, for example, when certain temptations.
Yep. I don't know what temptation you're talking about.
A devil start to whisper in your ear.
Hey, bro, you see the booty niches? The booty niches that we work past?
Believe it or not, that's a good exercise, actually. I'm going to give you guys a challenge, actually. Good you just said that. This is even for you. When you go outside somewhere.
Hey, I'm minding my business. I'm looking up.
Try to lower your gaze.
I am, bro. I ain't trying to get caught, though.
Try lowering your gaze. And guys know what I'm talking about. Like when you're walking and you see a woman and you say, God has blessed her all his might. You don't look at her. That is, for example, spiritually, I have noticed when I was going to the gym, when I was training this spirituality, I was going to the gym, and in the gym when you go,
there's things.
Women like to dress tight. And women who work out, they have curves.
Brother, where you looking? You're supposed to be looking at the weights.
That's when I trained. I looked at her, I said, okay, there she is. I look down or I look elsewhere. The whole point of it was to train that spirit, that there is a temptation good, but you're not tempted for that.
Tempted to touch.
But that's one exercise that you can take from my book, for example. Fasting is one that you said also that you forget. And you said...
Yeah, you just got throw me under the bus. You also the one you forget.
But you said that you forget, so...
Yeah, I forgot about it.
I'm just repeating what you said.
Reminding you forgot about this, by the way.
And fasting, for example, is a good way because it trains your mental strength, but spiritually wise, it will cleanse you in a sense of it makes you look deep down on yourself. Meditating, you said, I have challenged people to stay in that room all alone. Great exercise, but you stole it from me. I was also saying,
my bad.
But no, it's a truth.
But it comes kind of, because I kind of forgot about the fasting, because usually when you fast, you also want to meditate a little bit and be on the prayers.
Yes.
Because ironically, prayers in itself is part of the meditation.
Yes. But
throw it on like that, say that.
Praying for sure is the number one when you honestly talk to God and when you honestly seek refuge to God is one of the best things for your spirit and your spiritual strength. But for sure also adding to the religious books and, for example, stories of prophets and how they came about, how they overcame the trials and tribulations. great examples, and you can strengthen your spirit from that. That hey, he did this. I may find that same example in my life. It's these kind of things. Of course, to understand completely clear, these are suggestions. These are the examples that I have done, and these are the examples that we can share here. But to understand, please understand, everybody has their own journey, and everybody has to work their way what works for them the best. I can give you all these things.
All the instruction, all the chapters you need to go through.
If their heart is not in it.
Pretty much. So ironically, I used to say that to one person back in the days. You know, I can give you all the instruction, the tools, but if you don't do anything with the tools, well, it's just gonna be tools in the end
It's
of the
gonna
day.
be tools. Any last words?
Hey, this was quick and efficient. Look at the clock.
You know what I'm saying? Well, hey, we took over an hour.
Worst case situation, the video is 2 hours.
Could be the case.
Worst case situation, but hey, it was a nice topic. It was very fulfilling topic in itself.
sure.
So, and of course, as we always keep saying in the episode, we could still open it more and put more stuff into it, but then we'll be dragging out the episode longer. So it's understandable. We mostly got the main points that we wanted to get out and keep it efficient in a sense and move it forward constantly. So at least in my opinion, I don't really have much to add up into this. I listened to the brother what he said earlier about how you could improve, because I agree with it fully. And as I mentioned before, I forgot about fasting, because the fasting really affects on almost all of the areas that we talked about, the physical, mental, and even though it might not seem like it, but to some degree it also helps on the physical part, because it boosts on certain hormones, especially if you fast for a certain period of time, you have certain type of fasting.
For sure.
It helps on, goddamn the box. Anyway, so yeah, I hope y'all got some out of it, or if it was knowledge or you already knew before, that it was just refreshed to your mind, or you just enjoyed to listen to our voice talk about deep things, you know what I'm saying? But how about you? Any final words you want to give out to our fine people out there?
Not really. I believe these are those rare episodes that everything that was said needs to be said was said. Of course, like you said, there are so many stories, so many examples, so many things about strength that we can talk for hours. But it would be just dragging the video, and it's not a good content when it comes to this kind of content that we are doing. So, as he said to me, I said to him that listen to this brother man right here, take advices, take notes, and test it out. What works for you works, what doesn't, throw it out. And I believe that the people who are strong got out of it something, and people who are not strong got out of it as well.
See, I thought for a moment you about to buy somebody.
Nah.
Somebody. But as always, because some might have already started chilling down, laying down.
No. We cannot have that going.
We gotta keep them awake.
There is a something. Oh, he killed it. You see, even the bugs want to subscribe. Even the bugs want to go.
You know what I'm saying? You know what to do.
Even the bugs want to subscribe, so go ahead and play. You know what to do. Subscribe, like, and comment, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and go check out Spotify.
As always, simple. And always, if you want to have a little beef, or you have a disagreement or opinion that you want to push out on the back, put the comment down below. Comment, you know what I'm saying? Because we read them. We read them.
Sure.
And of course, if you want to smoke, we can, handle the business down there as well, too. So,
For sure.
as always. Any last words? Any add up?
No.
Nothing else? As always, hey, thank y'all for watching, and I hope to see y'all in the next one as always. Peace.